Hello, today we're going to talk about what all went into creating this shot in front of you here. It's a shot I did for a local grocery store chain. I've been doing a lot for those guys for over a long period of time, and they're a great client because they have some fun projects and they allow a lot of flexibility when we do it. So this was the end shot. So let's go back and we'll start with where we started. Okay, this was the first shot we did that was a still photo. We did a lot of composing while we were in live view, and I don't have record of that because it was live and it wasn't recording. But this is kind of where we started out. We knew that the main elements were going to be the ribs, and this is going to be vegetables over here, and the product over here, and the two sauces from these two bottles will go over there. And we knew we wanted some kind of scallions or whatever in the back. So here we go. This is the process. Okay, and you can tell by this outline along the outside here. This is the shot, and you can see a very little thin line here. That shows me this is a two-page spread. Like this will be one page, this will be the other. And I know there's some copy that'll go in here somewhere, recipe or whatever. So they're really flexible about that, which is really nice. So we have, the whole idea is we got to fit this together like a puzzle, and we'll go from there. Okay. So, right now we're sort of just working composition, figuring out what we're going to do. We actually wanted a black one of these things, and at the last minute, somebody forgot to bring it, or they thought they had it and they didn't, or whatever. So this is working out pretty well, though. I think the tones are working pretty well. Okay, you can see this is just, I have the light coming from the left. You can tell by this hard highlight right here and this sheen right down here. And this is probably in shadow of the light. I'm not even sure why I started out that way, but what I did was we were working composition. We scooted things over. I kind of like the way this thing was floating in here, and this is, we're overall pretty good. They say ice cream is the hardest thing to shoot and pizza is sort of second if a pizza pull, but I've always struggled with sauces, and I finally come up with a solution for that. And this is all stand-in food, by the way. If it lives, it lives. If not, then it's just stand-in. If it lives, it could be hero. And I think that's what we did with these vegetables here. She started adding those, and we could keep them if necessary. So right now, some of the deficiencies that I see here. Okay, this is one of the first shots where you can see where I changed the light direction. So I came in, you can see how everything here is a lot hotter. There's an edge here, there's an edge here. That's too much. This looks beautiful here, but I have lights on so I can see what I'm doing compositionally, but at the same time, I know what's going on. So, okay, there we are tweaking the light. And the composition here, now a lot's going to depend on how these particular shrimp are laid out. They're sort of the hero here. This and this is the hero. So this is going to be out of focus, as you can see. We got a little bit soft back there. And I started turning off fill lights. I only had one light on. I wanted to see what that would do. And that's really important in food photography. You want to light with one light at a time, because that's the only way you can see what's going on. If you light 2 or 3 lights at one time, you really can't tell effectively what's affecting what. So it's always good to use one light at a time. Okay, and this is a light a little bit lower, and you can see that's looking pretty interesting. The idea is we're creating, this shape is pretty nice. This is probably not enough texture. This is not enough texture, but there's a lot that's kind of cool there. Okay, just for fun, I threw a mirror on the ribs here. The thing about sauce is if you put too much light on it, too many lights, you get a gazillion little speculars and it doesn't look good. You kind of need a combination between speculars and like a glaze over it, like a big soft highlight, which is what I use my glare light for. You hear me talk about my glare light all the time, and I guess one of these times I'll have to just show you how I use that glare light, but for now you're stuck with this here. One of the things I knew, I was experimenting. I was coming in with the light from the left this time. I had a mirror just zapping that. So there's a light coming in this way, my main light, and then I threw a mirror across here. With using this light, I can kind of light one thing at a time, and that's what I've chosen to do. I knew the sauce was going to be a pain on my butt, so I started experimenting with the paint there and was trying. And I liked, this is too flat to me. That has nice texture. That has some nice possibility. So I went with that, and I really liked, I like the shape of what's going on here. This stuff is beautiful. I know with all those, that shape there, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. I knew that's going to be beautiful no matter what I do. So that's sort of a secondary concern. I knew this was going to be hot here, and I'd have to deal with that later, but I don't think that wasn't going to be a big deal. So here I am experimenting with the mirrors on the ribs, figured out what I'm going to do there. Okay, I brought mirrors over to the front items, different mirrors. Okay, I turned on my backlight because I was pretty happy with kind of the textures going there. You have to learn to see this stuff. You have to see what the light's doing and know when you add another light what that will do. You're not for certain what's going to do, but you kind of have to guess what's going on. That's what I did here. So I wanted to see what was happening on the ribs. You can see these highlights right here. They were added here. And that looks interesting, but it's a bit much. So I ended up turning it way down. So, okay, here's 2 shots ago with nothing. This is too much, okay? This is nothing. This is a little glare. So we're getting there, but it's just not enough now. It was too much, too little, too much. Okay, so here I am. I'm turning up that light and getting it to where I want it, sort of experimenting around to see what I like. See what I mean? You got these speculars, you have the harsh light giving the speculars, which it's okay, the speculars are okay. But what really makes it is this softer light back here. But you need the speculars to give you that texture there. So that's what's going on there. And here I am experimenting, keep on experimenting. I'm liking that. I'm liking this. Okay, the vegetables are beautiful. The shrimp aren't in place yet, and I know that. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. Right now, some of the things I see is I don't like all that negative space there. It kind of works okay. This actually works better than it did in the final shot, you'll see. But there's all this to deal with, and I like to have things coming in from out of the frame at some point. It just makes it look more complete to me, like you've taken just a slice out of the photo, out of the table. I hate when everything ends in the frame. That drives me crazy. It's just one of my pet peeves. Okay, so here we go. We're moving this thing around. I'm trying to suck up some of that negative space in there. Okay, we're moving those around. Okay, I'm experimenting on a couple of things at once here, and I can't really remember what I had. I think I wanted a little more room, or I wanted to move everything up forward a little bit so we could take advantage of all the cropping. Okay, we were playing with some napkins there. We knew we needed something back here, behind this, because this vertical here is just too strong without anything breaking it up. So we tried a couple of different things here, and this space here was bugging the hell out of me. Still bugs me, actually. So, okay, I was experimenting with fill light there, and that's way too much, and I'll cut that back later. There's a shot. I think we're starting to play with the composition of the shrimp, so because we're pretty close on everything else. We have the sauce in here now. Okay, whoa. Sorry about that. Whew. Whoops. You'd think I'd learn how to use this. Okay, when in doubt, do this. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so the stylist took away the bowl to fill it up. Something's messed up here. Okay, hopefully this isn't going to be changing on us. Let's see where we were here. Okay, this is where we are. Okay, we brought the hero sauce in. That way, that gives me information. It's sort of probably secondary to the glaze, but I know that'll give me a little bit of interest there too. So when I have that glare light on there, it'll really emphasize that too. Okay, the stylus is starting to play with the shrimp a little bit. And we decided one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to break up this line a little bit with the shrimp. And one of the things about shrimp that I learned a long time ago, whenever you have something that has an iconic shape like a shrimp, like like that, right? This thing right here, you can't tell what the heck that is. This you can't tell what it is. This you can tell what it is because it has the shape of a shrimp. So when you're having a pile of stuff, you can't have them all be the right shape. And you don't want that because it would look too staged. But what you do is you need a couple of the ones in the front to stand out as the iconic shapes. Okay, we added limes back there. So, and then I brought in, okay, I was at the same time, you can see here, this was before the limes, but see in the back here, this gray here, I was thinking, boy, that would be nice if that graduated a little bit. So I threw a flag back there to block the glare light from hitting that, and I went too far, so I took it back a little bit. It's always good to have graduation, I find. I mean, just the same tone, it just isn't right. I mean, I don't know. It's just a personal choice of mine. Okay, so we're messing around with the shrimp, messing around with the composition. This is the area that was really bugging me. I was trying to get this to work, to fit in together. Okay, so there's a shot of stylist reaching in. We don't have the shrimp just quite ready. Okay, we're working on it. This one's almost, it's getting there, but it's standing out on its own. And I think somewhere along the line here, if you look at this is a lot darker than it used to be. Up here somewhere, I guess it's a while back. So where are we here? Okay, so they gradually added some. Okay, we got the shrimp. Okay, so they're increasing the liquid level, and we're playing around with the shrimp. Like that doesn't work there. This doesn't work there, and it's pretty obvious. So we keep messing around with that, and the idea is, okay, bingo, that looks pretty good. This might be a little bit weird, but you're trying to break that background just because it's too prominent. It's such a diagonal shot through there. It's always better to break that up a little bit if you can, and we keep playing with that. Okay, we're adding a little more sauce here. I think it's interesting. If you see how light this skin is, I mean, the light is blasting through there, and that's given us some great shape there, but you really kind of have to be careful about things sticking out. And that's kind of what happened here. But what I did was I put a little dot and finger. If you guys know what that is, probably not. I'll have to show you that sometime too. But a dot and a finger is something you can put between the light and the subject, and it cuts the light a little bit. It's like a neutral density filter kind of thing. And but you can use it in very small places. Okay, so moving along, let's see what happened here. Okay, I'm just trying to tighten up the composition. Sometimes I get too tight. I think that brush there kind of fell into the shot, and I was thinking, wow, that could work out pretty well as a prop. So I spent a couple of shots, and this is kind of what happens to me most of the time. With the lens that I love most, which is a 80 millimeter tilt shift lens, it's my favorite food photography lens. You have to manually push a stop down button, and like if you focus it, you have to push the button so it opens it up, and then you have to remember to close it again after you're done focusing. And somehow it got, so I mean, that's the difference between wide open and not wide open. But we were thinking about putting that brush in there, and it just became, it just didn't work. So we tried the spoon in the bowl, and I think that's supportive. If you look at that, if it jumps out at you, okay, if this jumps out at you as being like too bright and too dominant, it's not there. I mean, like, you don't want to sell the brush, you're selling the food, so you kind of have to isolate that. Okay, so we decided on this, and playing with the limes, playing with the spoon a little bit. Okay, notice how this got brighter right behind the spoon area. I mean, to me, that was going a little bit dark, so I zapped a mirror in there, and I thought, okay, that looks good, but that looks too bright. So I pulled it back. So I came from such an angle where the shadow was hidden. Like, you can actually see, if you look, you can see a cast shadow right there. And I think I might have fixed that. I can't remember. Oh, now we added the scallions. That's almost like crumbs. So, okay, we're getting close to the end. Here's the scallion that I ended up moving at the very last shot. And okay, as you can see here, look at this piece of shrimp. This piece of shrimp is awesome. I mean, that says shrimp. It yells shrimp. So does that one. And you know the rest of these are shrimp just by association. The lighting here is awesome. Got nice light here, glare, got shape there. This is looking good. This is a little dead back here. That's something I usually like. I still don't love this area here. In hindsight, what I should have done, after you'll see the last shot, you'll probably agree, but if I would have just slid this sucker down here so that it was right in here instead of here, if it was right here, it probably would have worked a lot better, but there's always hindsight. Okay, so that was my solution to that problem. I brought the napkin over to take up some of that space, but I still wish I would have brought that over. Okay, now I added a little more light to the ribs, which I think really helped. And I was getting this weird highlight here in this mushroom, and this is, at this point, everything's hero food. So there's a couple things bothering me. This was bothering me. This was bothering me. This was bothering me. See how that ends right at the edge of that? It shouldn't. It should either overlap it or it should underlap it. You know what I mean? So it was kind of bugging the heck out of me. So, and at this point, we're getting to the, we're almost there. We're almost there. Okay, so we moved the mushroom. Okay, poke up a couple little things. And this is one of the things I didn't catch, but the stylist saw this tangent going here. Again, just like this kind of stuff, it should really overlap if possible. You know, sometimes it just slides by you, especially when you're getting near the end of the shot. But, okay, so here we go. Get the sauce going. Okay, the lime in the back. See how I added a mirror to that? I think I went a little too much on it. Got a little glisten back there. Changed the angle a little bit. Okay, what did I do there? Oh, I'm messing around with the little scallion-y things. And, okay, see, we brought the shrimp up there just to kind of break that surface. This is nested so nicely in here, but I almost wish we could have broken this around here somewhere too. But, that's what happens. So I wasn't quite happy with that space still, so I'm bringing the onion-y things down so that it kind of takes that up a little more, and I think I got relatively happy with that. So I toned that down back there thinking that might help too. So here I am, moved the bottles a wee little bit. Okay, we're getting close, Okay, threw a little bit of more light in there just to kind of brighten things up on that edge. I don't know in hindsight if that was a good thing or bad thing. Okay. Shot something with a little more fillage, a little less fillage. Okay, so we think we pretty much have it at this point, and the stylist says, okay, let's add some of the sauce that we're trying to sell. We'll put it on the product, and we'll see kind of what it looks like. So she's drizzling away. This isn't the shot we would keep. We would do it afterwards, but I just, I figured for you guys I'd click one just to show you her involvement in this. It's always good to work with a good stylist. That can make all the difference in the world. So, okay, you can see some of the stuff dripping over here. It's going to make it a little bit moister, a little bit more succulent. So, okay, we're getting to the close. Again, I'm bracketing, moving that shrimp tail up to make sure it protrudes through here. Got a little brighter exposure. And then what did we do here? Now, I was experimenting with depth of field, I think, because look how sharp that is in the back. Okay, trying to make it a little softer. Okay, well, one of these, like when I get to the end of the shot, I'll experiment a little bit. Okay, I'll maybe make it a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. And one of the things I did was I moved this scallion out here. That was just one of the last things. You can see right there, it's jumping on me. And we added some more of this particulate stuff here. Oops, sorry. So, you add some details, you try to make it just a little bit better, but, sooner or later it'll be diminishing returns kind of thing where you screw things up more than anything else. So, in all, I was pretty happy in hindsight. One of the things I would have done is I would have moved this over, like I said. I might have wrapped this around underneath a little bit more so that this would protrude above it, because this is kind of dominant to me. But overall, I'm pretty darn happy with everything. These labels a little bit off center, which is, I think, good. It makes it a little more casual. By the way, this is totally unretouched. I mean, you're looking at the raw files. So, yeah, that does it. If you like what you see here, do me a favor and click the like button down below, subscribe, and I plan on doing a few more of these things. I think these kind of shoots are valuable, not because you can copy what I do or anything, but I think they're valuable because you can understand my thought process. And if you can kind of see what I do, maybe when you do your shoots, you'll be able to kind of use that information and go through the same step-by-step that I do when I'm looking for things. And, if nothing else, it's always a good idea to get info from other places. So I hope you've enjoyed this. And like I said, do me a favor, click the like, click the subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.